The stars looked different from the observation deck of the Defiance. Captain John Miller stared at the vast emptiness of space, knowing it wouldn't be empty for long. The aliens were coming. Again. It started 3 years ago in 2037. Strange. Signals from deep space reached Earth's listening posts. At first, scientists were excited. First contact. But Miller had been a soldier too long to trust in happy endings. "Captain, they've entered our solar system," said Officer Lisa Harmon. Her young face looked pale in the blue light of her screen. 5 ships, 1 big one in the middle, 4 smaller ones around it. Miller nodded. "Alert all stations. Wake the General. The Galactic Council." That's what they called themselves. A group of alien races who claimed to rule this part of the galaxy for 10,000 years. They came with smiles and promises, offering Earth a place in their family of worlds. Miller didn't buy it for a second. "Sir, General Adams is on the line," said Harmon. The screen lit up, showing the tired face of General Steve Adams, head of Earth's Unified Defense Forces. After the aliens first appeared, Earth's nations had finally done what seemed impossible. They united. Not out of love, but out of fear. "What's the situation, Miller?" asked Adams. "They're back, sir. Bigger, fleet this time," Adams cursed. "They didn't like our answer last time." Miller agreed. 6 months ago, the Galactic Council had made their first official visit. They offered membership, technology, and protection. Earth's leaders asked for time to think. During that time, Earth's best hackers broke into the aliens' computer systems. What they found was troubling. "The Council probe has entered Earth orbit," reported Officer Ben Murphy, the radar specialist. His fingers tapped nervously on his console. "They're asking to speak with Earth's leaders." "Put them on screen," ordered Miller. The face that appeared wasn't human. Blue skin stretched over a narrow face with large black eyes. No hair, no ears, just small breathing holes where a nose should be. This was Ambassador Zextral of the Galactic Council. "Greetings, Captain Miller," said the alien, in perfect English. They had learned Earth's languages quickly, too quickly, some thought. "I trust your leaders have considered our generous offer?" Miller kept his face blank. "They have, Ambassador. I'm authorized to deliver their response." The alien smiled, showing teeth that looked too white, too perfect. "Excellent. The Council welcomes Earth's wisdom in this matter." Miller looked directly into the camera. "Earth thanks the Galactic Council for its offer. However, we must decline at this time." The smile vanished from the alien's face. "Perhaps you misunderstand what we're offering. Technology beyond your dreams. Medicine that could end all disease on your world. Protection from the dangers of space." "We understand perfectly," said Miller. "We also understand what happens to planets that join your council. We've decoded your databases." This was only partly true. Earth's hackers had only broken into some low-level systems, but what they found was scary enough. Planets that joined the council slowly lost their freedom. Their resources were taken. Their people were moved around like pieces on a game board. Some races even disappeared completely, labeled as non-productive members. The alien's eyes narrowed. "You have accessed private council information? This is most disturbing." "What's disturbing," Miller shot back, "is that you think we're fools. Every history book on Earth tells the same story. When a stronger group meets a weaker one, the weaker one suffers. We won't be your next conquest." Zextral's face hardened. "You mistake our intentions, Captain. The Council brings peace, not war." "Peace on your terms," said Miller. "Not interested." "This response is unexpected," said the alien. "Perhaps a small demonstration will help clarify the benefits of Council protection." Miller's blood ran cold. "Demonstration?" Without warning, one of the smaller alien ships fired a bright beam at Earth's newest space station. The station, home to 37 people, exploded in a flash of light. "What have you done?" Miller shouted, rising from his chair. "A simple lesson," said Zextral calmly. "The galaxy is dangerous. Small planets need protection. Now shall we discuss terms again?" But Miller wasn't listening. He was watching the tactical display where dozens of hidden Earth defense platforms were powering up. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. For 10 years since the first faint alien signals were detected, Earth had been preparing in secret. Old missile silos were converted to house new weapons. Scientists worked day and night developing technology based on theories that once seemed impossible. Earth wasn't the helpless planet the aliens thought they found. All defense platforms, fire at will, Miller ordered, his voice deadly calm. All ships engage defensive pattern alpha. The space around Earth lit up as hundreds of missiles launched from hidden bases on the planet, the moon, and nearby asteroids. The aliens had superior technology, but they weren't ready for an attack. They thought this would be easy. Zextral's face showed shock for the first time. "What is this? You dare attack council ships?" "You fired first, Ambassador," Miller said coldly. "We're just defending ourselves." The alien's image disappeared as communications cut off. On the tactical display, Miller watched as Earth's missiles struck the alien ships. 2 of the smaller vessels exploded immediately. The others, including the large command ship, were damaged, but trying to escape. "Sir, they're retreating," said Murphy, surprise in his voice. "They're actually running away." A cheer went up across the bridge, but Miller silenced it with a raised hand. "This isn't a victory. It's just the beginning. They'll be back, and next time they won't underestimate us." General Adams' face reappeared on the screen. "Good work, Miller. But you're right. This is just the start. The Council controls thousands of worlds. We've just picked a fight with the biggest kid on the block." Miller nodded grimly. "Then we better start building bigger guns." As the alien ships limped away from Earth, Miller knew humanity had just changed forever. They were now at war with an enemy who controlled most of the galaxy. The odds seemed impossible, but if there was one thing humans were good at, it was beating impossible odds. "All ships, maintain battle stations," ordered Miller. "And get me the President. She needs to know the war for Earth has begun." Susan Wright couldn't sleep. Again. 5 years of war did that to a person. She stood in the dim light of her bedroom, looking at old photos. Family, friends, places that no longer existed. The aliens had taken so much from Earth, but not everything, not yet. Her phone buzzed. A text message glowed in the dark. "Emergency meeting. War room. Now." 20 minutes later, Wright walked into the massive underground command center built deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Once, this place had been a Cold War relic. Now it was humanity's main defense hub. The room buzzed with activity despite the early hour. "Commander Wright," called General Alan Price. His hair had gone completely gray in the 5 years since the war began. His face looked tired, with deep lines around his eyes, but those eyes still held fire. "Glad you made it." Wright nodded at the old soldier. Price had been there from day one, fighting the aliens when most people still couldn't believe what was happening. "What's going on?" she asked. Price pointed to the big map table in the center of the room. It showed a 3D view of Earth and the space around it. Blue dots were human ships and bases. Red dots were alien ships. There were always more red than blue. "The aliens hit our moon base Alpha last night," Price said. His voice was calm, but Wright could see the anger in how tightly he held himself. "We lost 23 people. The rest got out." Wright felt her stomach tighten. Another attack. Another loss. But she kept her face blank. Leaders didn't show fear. "And our response?" A thin smile crossed Price's face. "We hit back. Hard. 3 of their big ships won't be bothering us anymore." A small cheer went up from some of the younger officers in the room. Wright didn't join in. 3 ships was good, but the Council had hundreds more. "Commander General," called a new voice. Dr. Karen Wells walked into the room carrying a tablet computer. The head of Earth's alien research team looked like she hadn't slept in days. "You need to see this." She placed the tablet on the map table. It showed strange symbols, alien language. "We broke into more of their communications," Wells explained. "They're talking about us, about humans, and they're scared." Price raised an eyebrow. "Scared?" Of us? They outnumber us 10-1. It's not about numbers, Wells said. It's about how fast we learn. Listen to this. The Earth species has adapted our own technology against us in ways we never imagined. They accomplished in 5 years what took the Zentari 2 centuries. Wright leaned closer. What else? They call us the quick ones, Wells continued. They say we fight like, the translation is rough, but something like cornered predators. No other species they've encountered fights like us. Because no other species had to, said a deep voice from the doorway. Everyone turned to see Dr. Paul Garcia enter. The physicist looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes, but he was smiling. Dr. Garcia, Wright said. I thought you were still working on the engine project. Garcia's smile widened. I was. I finished. The room went silent. Everyone stared at the disheveled scientist. You finished? Price asked slowly. You mean you fixed the alien engine? Fixed it? No. Garcia laughed. I made it better. For 2 years, Garcia and his team had been working to understand how the alien ships moved so fast. They had captured some engines from damaged ships, but making them work with Earth technology seemed impossible. Show us, Wright said. Garcia led them to a smaller room off the main command center. A video screen on the wall lit up showing a test chamber. Inside sat what looked like a large metal egg covered in wires and tubes. This is half the size of the alien engine, uses a quarter of the power, and goes twice as fast, Garcia explained, his tired eyes now bright with excitement. We can put these in our fighters by next month. Our big ships in 3 months. Price whistled softly. This changes everything. There's more, Garcia said. We figured out how their shields work too. Not enough to copy them yet, but enough to know how to break them. Wright felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Real hope. How soon can we start production? Already started, Garcia said. The factories in Denver and Mexico City are retooling now. We need to test this in real combat, Price said. A small mission, something to prove it works. Wright nodded, already thinking of possibilities. What about the supply depot they built on Mars? It's defended, but not heavily. If we could hit it, perfect, Price agreed. Small enough to be doable, big enough to hurt them. The meeting broke up as people rushed to make plans. Wright stayed behind, staring at the map table. The red dots still outnumbered the blue ones by far. You look worried, Price said, coming to stand beside her. I am, she admitted. Even with these new engines, we're still outnumbered. The Council controls thousands of worlds. We're just one planet. Price nodded slowly. True. But they've never fought anyone like us before. He pointed to the map. Look there. A new alert was flashing on the display. A massive alien fleet was forming at the edge of the solar system. At least 50. Ships bigger than any force they'd sent before. They're getting desperate, Price said with a grim smile. Good. That means we're winning. Wright wasn't so sure. The coming battle would be the hardest yet. But humans had one advantage the aliens didn't understand. Their backs were against the wall. There was nowhere to retreat. Earth was humanity's only home, and they would fight to the last person to defend it. Get some rest, Commander, Price said, patting her shoulder. Tomorrow, we start pushing back. As Wright left the command center, she passed a wall where someone had painted large words. They have the numbers, we have the will. Below it, in smaller letters. And soon, we'll have better ships too. For the first time in years, Wright slept without nightmares. Jack Wilson's heart beat fast as he watched the alien ships approach Mars. From his position on the bridge of the stealth ship Vengeance, he could see the red planet growing larger on the main screen. Mars looked peaceful. It wouldn't be peaceful for long. Status report, Wilson said, keeping his voice calm despite his racing heart. All ships in position, Colonel, replied his second-in-command, Pete Evans. The young officer's face looked pale, but determined. Stealth systems working perfectly. The aliens don't see us. Wilson nodded. For 3 months they had planned this trap. Earth's intelligence team had leaked fake information suggesting Mars held humanity's main weapons research base. The aliens took the bait. Now over 30 Council warships moved toward the planet, ready to destroy what they thought was humanity's best chance at winning the war. They were about to get a big surprise. "How's the QDF looking, Doctor?" Wilson asked, turning to the woman at the science station. Dr. Olivia Martinez looked up from her screen. Her dark eyes were tired but sharp. For a year she had worked on the quantum disruption field, a new weapon that could shut down alien technology. "The emitters are ready," she said. "All 6 are in position around Mars. Once the aliens are inside the field, their ships won't be able to talk to each other or target anything." Wilson smiled. Perfect. The alien ships moved closer to Mars, forming a half-circle around the planet. They were preparing to bomb what they thought were research bases on the surface. They had no idea that 20 human stealth ships waited nearby, hidden by new technology. "They're in position," Evans reported. "All ships within the QDF range." Wilson took a deep breath. This was the moment that could change the war. If they succeeded, they would capture alien ships and technology worth more than anything humans had gotten so far. If they failed, they would lose 20 ships and their best crews. "Activate the QDF," Wilson ordered. Martinez pressed a series of buttons on her console. On the main screen, nothing seemed to happen. Mars still looked the same. The alien ship still hung in space. But Wilson knew that invisible waves of energy now filled the area, scrambling the aliens' computers and communications. "QDF active," Martinez confirmed. "Their systems should be failing. Now." On the screen, the neat formation of alien ships began to break apart. Some drifted out of position. Others spun slowly in place. Their lights flickered. "It's working," Evans said, excitement clear in his voice. "They're dead in space." Wilson leaned forward. "All ships, drop stealth. Execute. Attack plan Thunderstrike." Across the battlefield, human ships appeared as if by magic, their stealth system shutting down. They quickly moved to surround the confused alien fleet. "Remember the plan," Wilson said to his crew, and through the comm system to all ships. "Disable. Don't destroy. We want those ships intact." The human fleet opened fire with specialized weapons designed to take out engines and weapon systems without blowing up the alien vessels. Blue beams of energy struck ship after ship, leaving them floating helplessly in space. On his screen, Wilson watched as the aliens tried to fight back. A few managed to fire weapons, but without their targeting systems, they missed badly. Some tried to run, but their engines sputtered and died as the QDF affected their power systems. "Sir, the alien flagship is still operational," Evans reported. "They must have better shielding." Wilson nodded. "Target all weapons on their engine section. Let's see how good their shields really are." 5 human ships focused their fire on the massive alien vessel. For a moment, blue energy splashed harmlessly against invisible barriers. Then, suddenly, the shields failed. Precise shots hit the engine section, and the huge ship went dark. "That's it," Martinez said, checking her readings. "All alien ships disabled." A cheer went up across the bridge. Wilson allowed himself a small smile before raising his hand for quiet. "Good work, everyone. But we're only halfway done. Prepare. Boarding teams. I want those ships searched and secured as quickly as possible. Over the next few hours, human teams in spacesuits entered the disabled alien vessels. They found confused and frightened crews, advanced technology beyond anything Earth had seen before, and, most importantly, intact computer systems, filled with valuable information. Wilson led the team that boarded the alien flagship. Inside, they found the alien commander, a tall purple-skinned being with 4 arms and a face that looked like it was made of stone. "You have violated all rules of warfare," the alien said when Wilson approached. Its translator made the words sound flat and emotionless. "The Council will destroy your world for this." Wilson removed his helmet and looked the alien in its 3 yellow eyes. "You started this war. We're just better at fighting it than you expected." The alien commander made a sound like rocks grinding together. Wilson's translator said it meant disbelief. "Your species is primitive," the alien said. "You should have Surrendered when we first came. All other young races do. That's your mistake, Wilson replied, thinking we're like other races. Back on the Vengeance, Wilson and Martinez reviewed what they had learned from the captured aliens and their computers. The news was better than they had hoped. The Council has never fought a real war before, Martinez explained, reading from her tablet. Their military is designed for quick attacks against primitive planets that can't fight back. When a planet resists, they usually just bomb it from orbit until it surrenders. Wilson nodded slowly. But we didn't surrender. No, Martinez agreed. And that confused them. According to their records, no species has ever kept fighting after the Council destroyed major cities. They expect fear to make planets give up. They don't understand humans very well, Wilson said with a grim smile. Martinez continued reading. There's more. The Council is made up of over 200 alien races, but most of them haven't fought a war in thousands of years. They've forgotten. How Wilson looked at the screen showing the captured alien ships. 37 vessels filled with technology and information that could help Earth. It was the biggest victory humans had won since the war began. We need to let Earth know, he said, and we need to prepare the next phase. Next phase? Martinez asked. Wilson's face was serious, but his eyes showed hope. We're not just fighting to survive anymore, Doctor. Now we're fighting to win. As human teams worked to secure their prizes, a message was sent to Earth. Operation Thunderstrike. Successful. 37 ships captured intact, requesting instructions. The reply came an hour later. Well done. Bring them home. It's time to take the fight to them. Eric Foster straightened his uniform tie as he prepared to enter the Great Chamber. As Earth's chosen ambassador, he carried the hopes of billions on his shoulders. Behind him stood Admiral Susan Wright and General Jack Wilson, both wearing their dress uniforms covered with medals from 7 years of brutal war. Are you ready for this? Wright asked quietly. Foster nodded. I've been practicing my speech for weeks. Just remember, Wilson said, show no fear. These aliens respect strength above all else. The massive doors opened slowly, revealing the famous council chamber. Foster had seen pictures, but they didn't capture how huge it was. The round room stretched up hundreds of feet, with rows of seats rising like steps. Each seat held a different alien. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange Foster could barely tell where their heads were. The Earth delegation may approach, announced a booming voice. Foster led his team to the center of the chamber where a circular platform waited. As they stepped onto it, the platform rose slightly, allowing everyone in the room to see them. Foster counted at least 200 different alien species watching them. Some looked curious. Others seemed angry. Most looked afraid. In the highest seats sat the council high speakers, the leaders of the most powerful alien races. Their chairman was a strange being that floated inside a clear ball filled with swirling gas. I am Speaker Zolran, the gas being said, its voice coming from a translator device. You have requested this meeting to discuss terms of surrender. The Council is prepared to be merciful if Earth submits completely. Foster smiled thinly. The aliens still didn't understand. Even after 7 years of war, after all their defeats, they thought humans would eventually give up. They were wrong. Speaker Zolran, Foster said, his voice strong and clear. We are not here to surrender. We are here to issue a warning. A murmur ran through the crowd of aliens. Foster could see confusion on many of their faces. Some were talking urgently to each other. Others were looking at data screens, probably checking if they had heard the translation correctly. A warning? The speaker asked, the gas in its ball swirling faster. You have lost 17 major cities. Your planet is wounded. Your population reduced, yet you speak of warnings? Yes, Foster said simply. He pressed a button on his wrist device. A large hologram appeared above the platform, showing Earth's solar system. It was no longer the defenseless place the aliens had found 7 years ago. Now it bristled with weapon platforms, defense stations, and fleets of ships. Many of those ships were captured alien vessels now flying Earth's flag. In 7 years, Foster continued, Humanity went from having no space fleet to defeating your best ships. We've taken your technology and made it better. We've developed weapons you never imagined because your people have lived in peace so long you've forgotten what it means to fight for survival. Foster pressed another button. The hologram changed to show blueprints of advanced weapons and ships, all human designs based on alien technology. We have no interest in joining your council or conquering other worlds, Foster said. We want only one thing, to be left alone. This is our formal declaration of independence from Galactic Authority. The speaker's gas body pulsed with angry colors. Impossible. All species must submit to council authority. This is the foundation of galactic peace. Admiral Wright stepped forward then, her face hard from years of war. Peace? You attacked us first. You destroyed our space station without warning. You bombed our cities. That's not peace. That's bullying. And we don't respond well to bullies, added General Wilson. Foster raised his hand and his colleagues stepped back. This isn't a negotiation. We're telling you how things will be from now on. Human space is independent. Any council ships that enter our territory without permission will be considered hostile and destroyed. Your territory? Another alien speaker asked. This one looked like a giant insect with glowing blue eyes. You claim only one star system. The council controls thousands. Foster smiled. At the moment, yes. But we're fast learners. He pressed a third button on his wrist. The hologram changed again, this time showing a map of the entire galaxy. Hundreds of points of light were highlighted in red. These are all council worlds, bases and outposts, Foster explained. We've mapped every one. Our new ships can reach any of them within days using the drive technology we've developed. The chamber went completely silent. No alien moved or spoke. They all stared at the detailed map showing their most secret installations. This isn't a threat, Foster continued. It's a courtesy. We're telling you what will happen if you don't. Respect our independence. Humanity extends its hand in peace to any who wish to trade or have cultural exchanges as equals. But we will never submit to your authority. The gas speaker's ball bobbed up and down in what might have been agitation. You are one small planet against 200 races. You cannot stand alone. Foster's face hardened. We already have. For 7 years you threw everything you had at us. You failed. Now imagine what we could do if we stopped defending and started attacking. He pressed a final button. The hologram showed videos of Earth's new weapons being tested. Energy beams that cut through alien ship armor like paper, missiles that could track targets across millions of miles, defense shields that could withstand any known council weapon. Remember this, Foster said, his voice dropping to a near whisper that somehow filled the chamber. We're armed, we're ready, and we're watching. Leave us in peace, and we'll do the same for you. With that, Foster turned and walked out of the chamber, Wright and Wilson following close behind. No alien tried to stop them. None spoke until the Earth delegation had left. Back on their ship, Foster let out a long breath. Do you think it worked? Wright shrugged. They looked scared, that's a good start. The question is what they'll do next, Wilson said. They might try one more attack to save face. Then we'll be ready, Foster replied. 3 days later, they returned to Earth as heroes. President Diane Clark welcomed them at the new White House, rebuilt after the old one was destroyed in the 3rd year of the war. The council ships are withdrawing from our system, she told them, showing satellite images of alien vessels leaving Earth's space. All of them. Foster nodded. They understand then, for now, Clark said. What about the future? Wilson laughed. The future belongs to humanity now. We've proven we can stand up to the biggest bullies in the galaxy. That night, Foster stood on the balcony of his apartment, looking up at the stars. For the first time, in 7 years, those stars didn't bring fear of alien ships and death from above. Now they represented possibility, opportunity, and freedom. Somewhere up there, an invisible line had been drawn, a boundary that marked the edge of human space. The Galactic Council had learned a hard lesson. Some species couldn't be conquered, couldn't be bullied, couldn't be broken. Humanity had issued its warning to the stars. We're armed and ready. And the galaxy had listened,